Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to another TW9 video. You join us today for 21st Century Wrestling's World War event, which is our 15th running of it. So we don't know if it's going to continually be this kind of format that I've made it, the big match up in our main event, obviously the 30-minute Iron Man match. We've got the 5-on-5 match, so I've kind of took it as I kind of took it as basically like a Survivor Series, War Games kind of thing. So whether that's going to be the case going forward, maybe, as I say, once in a full year into booking, we go to World War 16, we'll treat it as WrestleMania, etc., etc., Starrcade, you name it. You can see there we've got 4 matches were already pre-booked, so that was obviously 2 of the matches we mentioned. The UK Championship on the line as War Machine defends against Sebastian Collar, and the rematch between Rowley, Muckle Truck and Bedlam. I think we've maybe got about 11 segments on the show. It's only an 80% matches, 20% angles, so we didn't need to put too much in. But I'm starting to get a bit of an idea of what we need to do here, and we can really start progressing going forward. I think it's quite a while we'll stay at medium level. It looks like it's probably 5 months, maybe a bit more. But that's going to give us a real chance, if we don't lose too much money, to really develop talents and have a proper idea of our standing. And we can maybe take a few risks in the main event. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the 15th instalment of 21st Century Wrestling World War. And we are off to a flyer with some tag team action. I really need to actually add a match type where it's just a 4-corner match where it's the first person that wins basically gets it, but apparently it's still just an elimination that the base game has, so that's something I'll need to make over the period of time. But the near 27,000 attendance at the Thames Valley Corner, even, were treated to the Demolishers defending their belts, and it was about that had some great heat and decent wrestling as the Demolishers defeated Crouching Storm, Hidden Sifu, absolutely flawless, and the Men of Steel in 12:52. The Men of Steel went first, then absolutely flawless, and then Crouching Storm, Hidden Sifu. It gives the Demolishers, of course from the King's Men, their 6th defence of the 21st Century Tag Team Championship. So the wrestling was a 64, the crowd a 63, the segment a 58. Mass Hulk sustained a broken toe, so I'm assuming that might rule him out a little bit, which means we may see some sort of Mark Adonis solo run. 2 segments of advanced here, 1 gaining heat. And just to touch on what I mentioned in the last video, because they dropped to medium, instead of having 5 storylines that are hot, we only need 3. So effectively we're already going to be 3 higher than what we needed to be. So at a lower level of heat, I believe, as well. So that's hopefully going to make it a bit easier. We just need to make sure we financially manage the company when we've got the opportunity to jump up, that we're ready and prepared for it. So interesting how long that takes Mass Hulk out for. Next up, our usual women's match, just to say, getting them some more exposure. As I say, I'm not going to add a belt until we've got a bit more depth to the division, because if we've only got 5, it's a bit early, and I still feel like we just need to start getting workers over, and then more in, and they can get some overness shared from that. So it was about to hit some terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, as Unstoppable Ty remains unstoppable as she defeats Felicia Luck and Cassio Peter in 9:49, when Unstoppable Ty pinned Felicia Luck with the Tie Bomber. And this, of course, takes the role of the storytelling match. 36 for the wrestling, 8 for the crowd, 29 for the segment. And yeah, just again, the crowd unhappy that they're getting pre-show workers, but they need exposure. Next we see Absolutely Flawless heading backstage after their defeat earlier on tonight, so of course that is Lance and Kelly Martin. And they are attacked. Out of nowhere, they're ambushed by Drop Dead Gorgeous, and the beatdown is absolutely relentless. So Chris Knightley and Michael Gregory are properly hammering it down. I can't even remember, but somebody did adopt Chris Knightley as a protege. And was it Adam Matravers? I'll check after the show. I've already forgotten. But anyway, Jasmine Perlow basically says, "You think you can hurt my boys? Really, you uggos? Well, here's some payback." And they completely maul them. So 20, she was terrible without a script. Her dialogue was a mess. I might even start moving stuff to being scripted, change up the product a little bit. But it's a really good opportunity to again get some more overness to Knightley and Gregory. More action here, decent matchup. I just decided to give Landon Mallory a matchup against the Welsh Dragon. and he wins in 7:52 with the Springbok Ram. 57 overall, some decent performances. Unfortunately, Landon was off his game. We then have a little segment backstage, but disappointingly only a 55 here, and this was basically Edward Cornell rallying the troops. So that's him, BW Eddie, Doomsday, Viktor Beskov and Yuri Elikov, and he's just trying to rally them against the enemy, which of course is Tommy Cornell. He says, right lads, tonight is the night. Tonight we show the world that the House of Business runs this place. Don't let Tommy Cornell get in your head. We're better than them, and remember, I always have a plan. Let's go. So Edward looked good, the rest not so much. Next up was that match for the UK Championship, and it was about that had some great heat and decent wrestling. War Machine defeats Sebastian Collar in 11:53 with a choke bomb. War Machine makes defence number 5 of the 21st Century UK title. So overall, a 65. Much better performance from War Machine with a 67. And Cliff King doing some good work at ringside. So probably at one point, even though it will be heel versus heel, we're likely to see War Machine battle Landon Mallory. We then have a little promo. This is from Rolly Muckletruck. And tonight he says, I make a statement, I end this war with Bedlam, and then I'm going to put my sights on the next step to becoming a future 21st Century Wrestling World Champion. I'm Rolly Muckletruck. I'm going to roll through the opposition. So 69, simple, effective promo. Can he pick up the win against Bedlam? The answer is yes, he can. As we've about had fantastic heat and good wrestling, as Rolly Muckletruck defeated Bedlam in 10:37 by submission with a full Nelson. 68 for the wrestling, 73 for the crowd, a 70 for the segment. So the plan is here with Rolly, we're going to push him up. It's not going to be straight to the World Championship picture, it's just going to be a wee bit below that, and then hopefully we can start to then descend them towards the main event scene as we head towards basically 2023, use it as a real breakout year for him. And then came the 5-on-5 elimination match. House of Business against Team Cornell. So there's a lot to unpack here. And about that had some great heat and good wrestling. The House of Business, Edward Cornell, Doomsday, BW Eddie, Viktor Beskov and Yuri Elikov defeated Jack Bruce, Tommy Cornell, Adam Matravers and Alton Vicious and Riddick Jordan in an elimination match in 16:46. The finish had basically Edward Cornell somehow beat Tommy Cornell and somehow beat Jack Bruce, but that is because we had Reese Pendragon turn on Tommy Cornell. The protege has turned on the mentor, so that distraction got the win over Cornell, and then after that they managed to get the pinfall on Jack Bruce to give Edward Cornell and the House of Business the victory today. Interesting how people feel about that, because that is a guy that's not really over, but a lot of potential. So the wrestling rating is a 66, the crowd rating is a 68, the segment's a 73, and it was a sharp turn. So Rookie Sensation, I don't want to change that. It's only been built up for one segment, but it was a complete success. So pretty much, we'll obviously hear from them on the Best of British Wrestling, but it looks like Reese Pendragon joins the House of Business. Stay tuned for that. After it, what the hell has just went down? Reese Pendragon has turned his back on his mentor Tommy Cornell, but why? He stands above the stricken Cornell, he shakes the hand of Edward Cornell, and they both laugh before spitting at Tommy Cornell. So the segment advances the story, loses a bit of heat. His performance was a bit underwhelming. Edwards was good, a great night for the House of Business, and I'm really intrigued to see how quickly we can get Reese over, and how his stats in general ring stuff is going to improve as well, how quickly we can do that, because I had some in TW 2020, some it was a new gen that came through and they just skyrocketed with their ability. So 60 for that. Obviously Reese would pull that down a little bit. Heads us to our main event of the evening, and it was an exceptional matchup. Wade Orson defeats Leigh Burton in a 30-minute Iron Man match by 3 falls to 2. Wade Orson makes the second defence of the 21st Century World title 85 for the wrestling, 83 for the crowd, sadly only a 77 for the segment, and 92 for Orson, a 77 for Burton, and I also used the creative finish, which was a guaranteed hit. So you'll see here, if it's likely to be successful or like guaranteed hit, I'll probably have that in the title of it. If it's like an R, it's risky, etc., or G for gamble. So some punts I will take, but pay-per-views I'm more than likely, especially at the top level, going to try and play it safe. Around the show, it's been an absolute war between Orson and Burton, but the champion retains in a 30-minute classic. He holds the belt aloft as we fade to black, that should be, and then we head to our next pay-per-view, which is 21st Century Wrestling, head-to-head. The segment was an 88, so an 88 main segment, a 77 main event. We could get something quite high here, and Wade Orson enjoyed clearly having the freedom of going off script. So the show itself does a 77, that would be by far our best show. Still lots of room for improvement. I feel like once we can get away from like the 5-on-5s, like we get a lot of single matches, it'll probably help, but obviously I realise a lot of the House of Business still need to get higher in terms of popularity, because there's a popularity based company, and maybe the likes of Adam McTravers maybe getting the way down, Northern Lights probably need to come up. But as I say, this is where we can start moving away from the storylines the game's given us, and we can start pushing towards our own kind of journey. So I'll just say the locker room, I will just say Wade Orson pointed out as a good example. That'll be fine. Injury review. Broken toes only 6 days, so that's not too bad. Good we get it that quickly as well. Financial report. Overall profit was 1.3 million, so we're up to 9.3. We should actually make a lot more profit this month. I did spend a few things last month on obviously the facilities to get those workers coming in at the 1st of March at a better quality. So hopefully, I don't know if it's the 1st of March, but it'll be one point in March, we'll get people coming in from the training camp. Obviously, we don't have any changes with popularity. So there it is. I was Adam McTravers, there we go, we get it in the media scrum. Adam McTravers will be a great mentor. You recently made a new signing, Felicia Luck. What are your plans for her? She'll work her way up the ladder. Your response went down well with the locker room. Same with Ernest Youngman. It went well with the locker. We saw Jack Bruce have an off night tonight. Is his inconsistency going to hold him back? I have faith he'll be more consistent. Same with Landon Mallory. Do you have any comments about Beast Bantam not being at 21st Century Wrestling World War? He's been quite public about being upset. Hopefully he will take this as motivation to work a little bit harder. There's been a fight between BW Eddie and Mark Adonis. Wasn't anything serious. I'd say that Philharmonic is probably a big part. We haven't really utilised them yet, but it's obviously me learning the roster. So there might be some good talents we lose just purely because I'm not aware of them and not worked them into plans, but hopefully we can keep them. Because quite a few have got like low morale pretty quickly, so that's going to be quite an interesting thing to sustain over time, especially when you're trying to get so many pushes going forward. But we'll take a wee jump to the screen here. Excellent, we really struck gold with the show. That's good, that's been our best show. I actually need to start counting the amount of matches I've had to see how close we're going to get to the various achievements as well. I've had the full game since basically after the first pay-per-view, so I can count from there. Nothing else that directly affects us, I don't think. So we had 264,000 people view it, which was a 0.52 buy rate, and time to heal for Wade Orson, Victor Beshkov and Edward Cornell, and obviously we know about Mass Hulk's injury. If we just go to Cornell, popularity 85. I don't think that's really grew. I was hoping we would have maybe gained a bit for that storyline, but maybe he's pop capped. So great, that old chestnut. So I might even look at him and just say, would you want to try and get more muscular and see if we can possibly improve star quality, etc. Because that's only 68, says probably capped at that. So a few things to work on anyway before we head to World War. So just to give you a wee nosy there, a lot of people have morale issues from not being on the show. So that's going to be fun. Simon Lee's going to be on a film. This is going to be brutal. Try to keep everybody happy, I've got a feeling, because they weren't too bad the last show, but maybe it's because of the season finale. That's maybe why. But we've got him, and if I go to absences, Evan Alpass is on vacation because he was unhappy, but I've yet to make him happy, so we'll see. Thank you for watching, very much appreciated. We've got to plan now, the card for head-to-head, and then head to head-to-head. But thanks always for watching, a wee thumbs up, appreciated. Let us know how your own saves are going. And of course, check out the Fantasy Bookers subreddit, Grey Dog Software forums, and twdb.net, I think. Take it easy, and I'll see you all real soon. Bye bye.